Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. We are right in the middle of the NHRA Western Swing. The Muckleshoot Casino Resort Northwest Nationals at Pacific Raceways are in the books. We're going to do results on the show today, and then I'll be headed right back out to Sonoma and the DENSO Sonoma Nationals presented by Power Edge. Super excited about the Western Swing and our guests here today. Matt Hagan, Tony Stewart Nitro, busts through for his first win of the season. Mike Knutson gets his first win as a crew chief. He's got many wins, assisting and and all of that. But this one is Mike and Phil Schuler. So cool to see those guys get a win. And Hagan get on the board. We'll also have Jason Galvin breaking it all down. We'll talk about the race, the Friday night, all the different stuff that went down at Pacific Raceways, the crowd, all of it. We'll discuss all of it on this show. And then we'll go again. Can you believe it? Only 3 races remaining till the NHRA countdown. I cannot believe it. Big sponsors helping out WFO. I will tell you about them in just a little bit. But right now, let's bring on the guest of honor, the guy who got the job done first time this year, Matt Hagan. Welcome to WFO. Much better, Matt. Looking good. How are you?
All right. Good deal, bud. Yeah, glad to be on the show. Obviously, when we get to talk, it means something great happened on Sunday, and I'm excited about it. Like you said, get on the board. We've been on the backside of some really good drag races this year, and just couldn't quite get it done. And it was one of those things where last Sunday it kind of had to feel to it like we might be able to make this thing happen. And car was running good. We had I kind of one of those things you had right after second round getting past Beckman, you're going like, okay, this is a possibility. I mean, but you watch Beckman go low the event, you know what I mean? So it's kind of it's always going like, well, we need to run hard too,
Yes. Yeah, well, exactly. I was just thinking about your wins, right? This is another big milestone win. You're racking up the wins, all that. I can't say this for certain, but there's a good chance we have all of your win interviews on WFO Radio. If not all, like many Matt Hagan performances, and you always prioritize coming on the show, and I appreciate that.
53 of them, man.
That's wild. Could you have imagined that? Like this is Hall of Fame career you're having. The 4th championship locked that in. The 3rd championship locked that in. 4th championship, truly. But now one of the greatest of all time and still going.
Oh, I'm just blessed to be around it, man. I mean, it's really been about my guys, you know what I mean? And just, 53 wins. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I heard these fuel cars take off in Bristol, and I just had never dreamed of that I'd be behind one of them and being able to win and, hold up trophies and just the experience that you get with your guys, your core group that, the watching them put in the sweat and the blood and the tears and all the stuff that it takes to make this thing happen. And it just unbelievable career so far, so we're all working hard, man, but so is everybody else, and I think that's what's so motivating is that there's the class is so competitive now. I mean, back in the day, not taking anything away from Force or anything, but man, it was about, there was no rules really. Like it's just how much money could you spend to innovate and how fast can you go? And if you had enough pocketbook behind you, you could outrun everybody. Now these rules, they're trying to slow us down every weekend, and the class is so tight and it's so competitive that it's unbelievable. I mean, there's just it's hard to dominate. And so you got to tip your cap to, you know, Prock and Beckman and those guys that have been out here running away with it a little bit, you know. So it says a lot, you know. So I'm very, very impressed with those two cars, you know. But those are the cars we have to beat, and those are the ones we have to step up to, and we're right there doing it, you know.
We all are impressed by what they have been able to do, but there's a countdown reset for a reason, and it's to give people that are kind of getting acclimated and building chemistry the opportunity to use the first half of the season to be at their best at the end of the season, where everybody battle royal at their best. And that's what we're seeing. Talk about the relationship with Dickie Venables. Was amazing for many years. All those championships, 3 championships. I know you got one with Tommy D, and then 3 with Dickie, as I understand it, and then a change. And I understand why. Like, Mike Knutson is this young man who's been just patiently waiting for his opportunity, and his opportunity has to come. And it's really cool that Dickie has got to win with JR. Now you guys have got to win, but that had to change some things within your team. Did you have to relearn anything, do anything? Take me through that transition.
Yeah, the transition is pretty simple. I mean, it's straightforward. You know, Mike Knutson has been under Dickie for 15 years. And I think, you know, as anyone can understand, they said, hey, man, it's my time to have a shot to try to do this thing. You know, we're either going to, you know, go here or stay here or do whatever, but I'm going to be a crew chief somewhere. And he had a big offer on the table from a dragster. And, you know, we sat down as a group, you know, talked to Tony a little bit, and Leo was involved. Everybody was involved. I mean, it was a group effort of figuring out, like, what do we do? How do we give Newt a shot? But also, how do we keep Dickie and, you know, maybe as a consultant or something like that? But, you know, basically he's like, look, man, I got, you know, an offer over here, and I'm probably going to take 5 or 6 of these guys with me. And you know, it's that kind of very challenging to rebuild a team. And, you know, it's hard enough to find one replacement. Like we've had a fill-in bottom end guy all year. And Matt, he's just doing a great job, but he's got a business and he's traveling, and, you know, his wife letting him go on the road for the weekends. And it's tough to find guys. So long story short, you know, it just basically, I was like, you know, the wheels are falling off of this bus. It's just a matter of when, you know. And it was just Tony had to make some hard decisions of, like, hey, do we bring Newt up and, you know, keep all of our guys intact, or do we, you know, give Dickie an opportunity to be a consultant and, you know, move that around where he could oversee 2 cars. And I think Dickie, at the end of the day, he decided that he just wanted to still be, you know, a crew chief and not a consultant. And you know, and so that decision had to be made amongst those guys, and Tony made some hard decisions. But I think you have to promote within. You have to let people grow. You know, and Dickie, you know, there's no bad blood there, man. You know, Dickie called me as soon as we won, and he was just like, super congratulations. He's like, I was really proud of Newt. He's like, I even teared up when I saw it, man. So I think there's love there. And I think there's one of those things where Dickie's got to be proud of Newt, because he taught him everything he knows, you know what I mean? And, you know, and Phil Schruller coming into the mix, they worked well together. You know, Newt had worked with Phil on the dragster with Spencer Massey for years, you know, so they had a great relationship. They got along great, you know. And also, when Newt took the assistant position, Phil was one of those guys was like, I'm not going to let you fail. If you have questions, if you know, whatever happens, he's like, I'm going to help you. So that relationship was really strong a long time ago. Bringing Phil in was a great add. I think Phil really has helped turn, you know, Tony's car around a little bit. You know, you know, those guys have lots of questions for Phil, and Phil's been over there, and they've been over in our lounge, and it's just a great chemistry, and everybody's working really well together. And I think you can see Boss Man's pretty happy. I mean, he's won some races, and we're allowed to put sharp objects back in the trailer now. And you know, it's just one of those things where Tony is just, I think he's enjoying racing and enjoying his family, enjoying his kid. His wife Leah, she's kind of like boss lady, man. She's over here making decisions and making calls and doing things. So it's got a nice real flow to it right now. And you know, everything's just, you know, everybody in our camp is really excited to be there. We're all, you know, got smiles on our face, and we're all working hard behind the scenes.
That is great. Since you brought it up, I do want to ask you about the round by round, and getting congratulations from the WFO universe out there. People saying congratulations, Cliff saying congratulations. The building to this, we saw it coming, the runner up and then the win. Monica saying go TSR, all that. But since you mentioned Tony, I would like your perspective on his development and evolution as a driver. We clearly have seen him lead the points up until this weekend for a while, still in the mix for that regular season championship, getting his first win 4 wide, his first win 2 wide, 5 final rounds consecutive. We see the public view, and it's been amazing to watch. What about you, he credits you guys for like coaching him up from the very beginning, going from that almost like a newborn drag racing baby, getting in a car for the very first time, to what you are seeing now, which is a guy who's cutting down the tree, going after people's throats, battling it out with Sean Langdon like every week. What has your perspective been? And do you have any pride in what he has been able to do?
Well, I think Tony is one of those guys that's just naturally competitive. I mean, no matter what he's doing, whether he's playing Tetris or driving a fuel car, he's like, he's got that competitive drive. I'm going to step on your throat and we're going to get this thing done kind of thing. So, yeah, I'd love to sit here and say, hey, man, I've had all this, influence and different things like that. But the guy's just a natural driver. I know Leah's had put a lot more input into it than I have, but she rolls over and wakes up and looks at him every day, so it's probably a little bit easier to talk to him like that, but at the end of the day, I think he's just a natural, man. I mean, the guy is talented behind the wheel. He processes information a lot faster than most people. I think, a lot of guys that take 5, 10, 15 runs to start feeling comfortable and different things, but he just picks it up and applies it and, puts it out there on the racetrack and on the car. And you could just see things just happening a lot quicker with him. So I think that's why he's been so successful with all of the different types of racing that he's been able to do. He really processes the information a little bit faster and differently than most people do. And he applies it to the racetrack, So he's got a knack for it, but it's really all him, man. I mean, it's not anything I'm doing. I'm not really sure so much Leah, but I mean, I'm sure she's, giving him some pointers and stuff here and there. But Tim Wilkerson told me one time, I said, hey, man, I'm going 300 miles an hour. I said, I licensed in his car. I was like, you got any pointers? He's like, hey, kid, at 300 miles an hour, he said, you're on your own. So I was like, that's a pretty good tip, but it's kind of one of those things where you just take it and run with it. You learn from every lap. I mean, it's so expensive to run these cars. And, so every run I'll come back from the top end and I'm processing what happened. And you're trying to think about what I could have done better or different or what the car's doing. And it's kind of like getting on a bull, man. You don't know which way it's going to come out of the gate and you got to ride it to the end. And that's why we do it, though. That's why it's so fun. And like I said, we get to win these things, and this I'm carrying it around because Jason Johnson, we're out here. We're about ready to go do some wine tasting. His family owns 5 wineries, and they wanted to Wally at the wineries, but this one's going to go to Mike Knutson. I mean, obviously it's his first win as a crew chief. I've got 53 of these up on the table, but not that they're not important to me. But when you have these moments in history that are super special and they solidify you as a crew chief and what you're capable of doing out there, and I looked at him and I said, look, dude, you will have a job the rest of your life in drag racing as long as it's here, because you're a proven crew chief now. And that's something that is hard to do out there. There's a lot of guys that truly want to win these things and just never have. And when you get one done, it's pretty important.
100% race winner in the NHRA, now coveted experience, and only going to get better as he has the confidence. He's done it. We've seen that 100 times. So there's a million questions about the stash. We'll get into that. You're going wine tasting. We want to get you out of here as best as we can, but I ask everybody to share the show. All you Tony Stewart fans, all you Matt Hagan fans, let's get this interview out there. And you can do it by commenting on our YouTube feed or just reposting on X. Let's talk about that first round. When you and Buddy Hull walked on the stage, I thought, oh my God, is this stage going to hold up? You had to get through Buddy first round. We thought of, man, you guys could have been a great marquee matchup, but we didn't do it because Buddy was having a tough weekend, right? He was kind of really on the back foot, but in the future we'll have to do that. But walk us through. You can't take anyone lightly. How'd you get through that first round to set up the matchup against Beckman?
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of, the first rounds for me are always tough. You got that like bubble in your gut, and it kind of feels like knots. And I was amped up, and you don't want to take anybody lightly, but it's one of those things where Nuke came over to me and he's like, "Look, dude, we're going to press. We need lane choice against Beckman if we get there." He's like, "So be ready to pedal, be ready for anything." And I was up and just like, let's go, So I almost double stepped the car, it was almost over with before it started, and I had a 90 something light, and I was just like, oh man, that could have been real bad, So you get back and you chew on your mouthpiece a little bit and you go like, well, let's not do that again, so definitely not taking anybody lightly. I mean, Buddy, they beat several big hitters out here already this year, and that's why we race them. I mean, if it was only the ones we'd win, that's the only ones I'd show up to, so it's we race them on Sunday for a reason, because you just never know. But getting into that, and then obviously, I guess what second round was Beckman, right? Yeah, and Beckman, watching him lay down an 83, and we were sitting in the lounge, and my crew chief, knew, he was like, whoa, that changes things, so having to go up there and do that. And honestly, I do not know why they took the right lane. They hadn't been down it all weekend, and they had lane choice, and I couldn't believe that they decided to go over there, and it was it's pretty bumpy lane, honestly. I mean, we went down both lanes, but hey, I mean, that's their decision, their choice. But I was just shocked that they stuck us over in the left lane, which we wanted, and it worked out good for us. But after Beckman, then who do we have there? It was
Alexis, who double hole shot her way.
Alexis, yeah. And everybody says, well, man, she's done 1 on 2 hole shots. And I said, I don't want to be the third victim. You know what I mean? Like, what a great job she did driving this weekend. I mean, she's, getting to the semis there and really having an opportunity to just showcase what she's been working on and honing her craft. And, to cut 50 lights out there, it's hard. And the rollouts really, truly, if you look at a 50 light and they're on that deal, the 60 foots were fast there. So the lights were slow. Most people were in the 100s and 90s, you know what I mean? So when you looked at the sheet, you're going like, man, everybody's struggling cutting lights here. I mean, even Prock was cutting 70s and stuff, so it was just kind of one of those things where you knew when someone cut a 50 out there, like they're killing the tree, and she was killing it, man. And so I was like, I don't want to be the third victim, so I got up for her, you know what I mean? And it's just it's one of those things, but good on her, man. She's great. I love her to death. We got a lot of good chemistry there, and she's one of the boys, you know what I mean? Like, she gets in there and puts her mouthpiece in and grunts and growls and gets it done. And I'm proud to see her career, really coming around. She's with a great team. And I think that, sometimes you just, click better with other people, and maybe she's feeling a little bit better energy there, and it's going great for her. So we'll have to watch out for her in the future for sure.
Clearly, she says she's 60s, 50s, 70s, even in the run that you did beat her, you had to dig deep to do it. She was in a great mood from the Fan Fest. We had a Fan Fest at Dave & Buster's, and she was in a great mood right from jump, feeling good. When you're feeling good, you perform well. At least that's how I foresee it. All right, final round. Caps, the great corruptor, right? Like, from
Caps,
the very
man.
beginning. Tough stuff.
I love Caps, man. Like, it truly, I love racing. It's a no BS up there. It's like we turned the bottom bulb on at the same time, man. I mean, it was just like boom, boom. We were both in the tree drops, and we were up for each other. We both had it rolled in a little bit, but at the end of the day, my car, it shook. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to pedal this thing, and I was like, no, I'm gonna ride it out, and it just kind of started slowly clearing up, but still was rattling the whole run, which is a super odd feeling. I was kind of like ducking and covering a little bit. I was like, is it going to blow up or what's going on? I mean, it just had a vibration the whole run. And, but like the wind light come on, I think it burned the head off of it or something like that as well. Just down on power is why I was kind of grabbing the racetrack like that. And, it just got the wind light, but they're always tough. Guido, Kelly, is our GM, and she's married to Guido, which is the crew chief over there on the Napa car. And so I'm not sure if she's really always excited when I win or, how it goes, but at the end of the day, it was a win-win for her no matter what. And it just kind of one of those things where it's been coming, man. We've had the backside of some good drag races, and we lose them by 8 thou and 4 thou and 6 thou, and put this in perspective, it takes 10 thou to blink your eye, you know what I mean? So it's unbelievable how these crew chiefs get these things to run so close, and a couple of feet at the finish line and different things at 330 miles an hour. But that's why it's a fun ride, and it's why it's so competitive now. And 20 years ago, it's a whole different story, but here we are today, and we have to step up, and we have to figure out some way with all these rules that they have on us to try to slow us down, to try to go faster.
Yes. And the point standings after the race, you're now third, 166 out. Austin Prock, 140 up on Jack Beckman. That regular season points championship, I still think they are certainly the favorite, but with 3 races to go, 1.5 points at Indy. If they stumble again, you guys can get on a run. You never know. Maybe get some of that money that's out there on the line. But bigger picture, NHRA Countdown, as this team is like flexing some muscle and getting strong. Do you feel like you're going to be able to mix it up with those guys for the countdown?
I mean, 2 finals in a row. I mean, and the biggest thing, like the couple races before this, no one knows this. We pulled a different chassis out for 3 races, and we had a spot in line to figure out what we were going to build. And he'd never run the other chassis before. I mean, we had data on it, and Dickie ran it before, but he was like, "Look, I just got to turn the knobs on this different deal and see how it goes and flows." And we had 3 first-round exits. So obviously, we didn't like that chassis, or he didn't like the setup with what he's trying to do and stuff. So we're going in a different direction. But 3 of those last races, up until the last 2, we had a whole different chassis that we were testing out and trying to figure out. So I think sometimes you just the regular season, you still have to do some R&D, you still have to try some things. But right now I feel like that this team is really starting to come together in the right amount of time. I mean, when I was with Tommy DeLago, we won our first championship. He put some cylinder heads on the car, and they were like, "Wow, these are great." And then he shelved them, man, all the way until the countdown. And we went out in the countdown, won 2 races, and went to a final or 2, and ended up winning the championship. And it was all just because he was like, "I'm not going to run and use up what we got in the regular season, and put it on when it counted." And so some of that kind of stuff is like you're playing chess and not checkers. And I mean, it's above my pay grade, but at the end of the day, I think that we're doing the things that we need to do to be in the positions to where we have a real opportunity to try to pull down a championship. Prock, no doubt, is going to be tough. The kid's a good lever. His dad does an amazing job tuning his race car. And Beckman, you can't count him out either. You know what I mean? That whole group over there with Cunningham is just unbelievable. That guy, everywhere he goes, the cars run exceptionally well. And you got Tim and his son-in-law there that tune the car as well. And it's just they're going to be 2 cars, but there's still, I mean, you got Dickie behind, over there, the DHL deal. And, there's a lot of cars that are just, behind us in points right now that are still very, very vicious and very, they can threaten at any time and really kind of pull things together. So I don't think you can run safe in any way, and NHRA funny car, I mean, it's just, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, look at Chad Green and those guys starting off the season and wins, and, Paul Lee and everybody else. So it's anybody's ball game, man. You just got to have some good days and really do your job in the wheelhouse as far as getting up on the wheel and cutting good lights and being consistent. And I think that's what I found, the majority of my career is just I can just be on and the car will come to me eventually. They have so many more variables to deal with. And you just, as a driver, you just got to make sure that when the car does come to you, you're doing your job,
All right. I know the wine bus is pulling up. Jason Johnson, Nikki Johnson, they're going to pull you away from us real soon. So I got 2 more questions, one for the fans, one for me. Everyone wants to know about the stash, right? You paying royalties to Selzy? The lip fur is good for you. Are you superstitious about the stash? The stash has something to do with the Wally. I remember Epping. You showed up in Epping with a Fu Manchu. You won that a couple of years ago.
But we drew the stash on the Wally.
I see him. What about it?
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with the stash. Like, I was joking around up in Epping when I first rolled in there with some handlebars, and it was just for fun, man, just to kind of BS, and I'll end up winning. And then they're like, well, you got to grow it again. So the next 3 years we won this deal, and I had the stash, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to grow the stash. It's like we haven't won, we've been real close, and I was like, I'm pulling it back out, man, and got the little fuzzy caterpillar going, and we win. So I don't know, man. Let's just I think we're gonna leave it there until we don't do well, and then I get to shave and not be itchy and fuzzy and all that. It's like peeling off Velcro with your head sock, you know what I mean? So but at the end of the day, it's just all in good fun, man. And I think that's no different than my race day fits, right? Like, everybody's like, well, this ain't you, and you don't look like that, and you're a cattle farmer and you should be in a cowboy hat. But it's just like stepping out of your comfort zone. And as much success as I've had out here in this racing industry, if I can't have fun with it, then I need to go home and hang it up anyway. So I'm having a blast with my race day fits. I'm having a blast with the stash. It's all good and fun. And so if you take yourself too seriously, you got to check yourself, right? So we're loving it. We're enjoying life and just having fun with it. And I appreciate all the fans that are out there supporting it.
Absolutely. The race day fits, if you haven't seen it, WFO Universe, you got to check out, like, every Sunday morning. It's just wild what they're doing. They're having a great time. All right. Then the question for me, final question, the Friday night deal. I want your expert opinion on this. There was a pretty strong debate. Yeah. We put up this extra money, And it was as if it was a home run derby where everybody only gets one pitch. And they're swinging from the heels and not getting down. And then I heard some fans were bummed out. They saw Brittany go 340. They saw Doug right off the track record. But as far as funny cars goes, so do you need 2 runs on Friday? But that first run is going to come way early in the day. The 3 runs on Saturday packed the house. There were some good and bad. What's the solution to that problem?
I like the 3 runs on Saturday and not do a Friday. I mean, that whole Richmond deal, that scheme, I mean, it's better for the teams as far as, hotel rooms, all that kind of stuff. But if we're going to do a night run on Friday, I feel like we got to have kind of a throw the dart and see where it lands on the dartboard kind of run, you know what I mean? And it allows everyone to kind of figure out, hey, this altitude, this air, the track, the temp, all this, even if it's during the day, it gives everybody a shakedown to kind of understand, like, hey, they've sprayed this much glue and then we have this much gripple out here, we're doing this and that. So many variables, right? So I was disappointed as a fan at Hart, that no one really went down in funny car, and we were all like, oh man, we get to run this night run. And these things are so complicated. There's so much chatter in my ear with the crew chief making so many changes all the way up until we fire the car up. I mean, sometimes I want to unplug my radio. I'm just like, gosh, guys, I mean, let's figure it out. Let's quit talking so much, but there's just so many changes. And so that being said, I feel like that, we probably would have had a little better result if we would have had like a shakedown run before, you go out there and just swing for the fence, and, because everybody's got to see where that dart falls, and they make adjustments from there. But hey, it's their sandbox we're playing in. I'm just glad that we get to go play in the sand. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm a big component of, rolling here Saturday, have a morning, an evening, and a night run, give these fans everything they want. We get one last day of having to, we can be at home or be at our businesses, do whatever we got to do, and less traveling, and turn around. That Richmond race was pretty amazing. I mean, I was like, boom, we're in, we're out, and we accomplished everything we needed to. And so I'm a big fan of that. But I understand the gate, and guys needing to sell hot dogs and T-shirts and all that kind of stuff too. So we at least NHRA is open-minded to try new things.
There you go. Matt, go have fun. Enjoy the wine. Please tell Jason and Nikki Johnson I said hello, and we'll see you guys this weekend as you get ready for another race. We get to go again. Sonoma Nationals. Good luck.
All right, brother. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys.
There he goes. Matt Hagan with us here on WFO Radio. Certainly appreciate his opinion. Jason Galvin from the NHRA going to be joining us minutes from now as we talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about everything that went down in a rapid fire conversation. But I talked to so many people about it. It's not about what any person, wants to do. It's about what we can do to get things right. And certainly, I have been going to Pacific Raceways for at least a decade. I don't know exactly when I first started to go. This is definitely the biggest crowd that we have had since a pandemic. Like, the pandemic changed the earth and the way people go, and honestly took away a lot of people. And now we're building back. And last year was bigger than the year previous, which was 1,000,000 degrees. And this year was bigger than last year by, I felt like, a considerable amount. So we'll just have to wait and see. Jason Galvin coming up next. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we will check in with Jason Galvin.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
And the winner of the WFO League and Drag Race Bracket Bonanza was Obi, and is the points leader, as I understand it. We talk about that on the Ignition podcast, and we did that in the last minute of the show. But sign up to our Drag Race Bracket Bonanza League. It's in our feeds, X. It's on our WFO group on Facebook. We've got a wonderful group where people are posting positive things. We try to avoid, spam and fake news, and everybody is all empowered to delete and report those people. So check out the WFO group on Facebook. It is a very strong and solid group of like-minded people, and you'll be able to find the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza League. I don't know how I did this week. Maybe I'll check. Well, we bring on this guy, Jason Galvin from the NHRA, called the action and got to call the fastest run in the history of drag racing. Now the top fuel dragsters take their rightful place once again as the queens of the sport. Or Brittany's.
Yeah, Queens, Kings. There we go. Helps when I unmute it. Nah, Sunday was wild, wasn't it? Have you recovered yet?
No.
Yeah.
And heading back out tomorrow, baby. Not recovered. Listen, behind baseball, staying hydrated. I had all kinds of issues. I did have the greatest travel weekend of my life, though. Upgraded both ways, Jason Galvin. And just as the plane takes off, both ways. Upgraded on the way home. I had, the ice cream sundae. I was enjoying life. As soon as the plane took off, the power went out at SeaTac and everybody was trapped. I was dodging tough situations. I got out of the facility through the secret exit. It was an amazing travel day. Thank you, travel gods. And please do not punish me this week.
Yeah, you and I both were, I think, about 20 minutes in the air. And many of our colleagues ended up spending an extra 14 hours in Seattle they were not intending to.
I know, and I'm not happy that happened to them. I'm happy that I got out because I was at home at 6 a.m. Eastern, and I was able to utilize all day to prepare for the show to get Matt Hagan on. All right, so let's go category by category, but let's start out with the conversation that we just concluded with Matt Hagan. We all want amazing things, and I love trying these Friday night shows with the lobster, and of course the battle for the saddle at the Stampede of Speed really kicked it all off. But the funny cars just missed. My analogy: home run derby, one pitch, no batting practice. Get up there and go. If we did that with major league players, I have a feeling we'd have similar results. But in drag racing, people are empowered to be angry about it. I don't know, man. I think, given the circumstances, we got what we got. The question is, what's the right thing to do? Give them a second run on Friday, but then you can't do 3 runs on Saturday. And the Saturday crowd was amazing. That worked. Yeah. So what do we do? And what did we do wrong? And is this just part of drag racing?
Well, listen, I think you and I both talked to like 6 different people and got 6 different answers about Friday, right? The thing that I'm going to stand on, and I don't proclaim to be a crew chief, but I was down there Friday. You were in the booth. And I stand by, I think the track the first run I don't think would have mattered. Let's just put it that way. The track was so good, but it got so cold so quick that I think there was a conflict in crew chiefs' minds over what the keg machines was saying about the track, the compound of rubber because of the short car counts and sportsmen. And we all know that Hoosier and Mickey Thompson rubber doesn't mesh the same way Goodyear. I mean, that's just like it's a common sense thing, right? So I think you start looking at things like that. Like, would the first run have helped put some rubber down? Yeah, but was it going to help make the track warmer? No. We got a little behind with some early incidents that didn't help. And I think that those things just snowballed, frankly. And I think until we got deep into dragster, the crew chief struggled to keep up with the changes. Now, those cars that were deep in dragster, they had, the benefit of the doubt that a David Grubnick and an Alan Johnson had was those cars didn't leave their pit until we ran 5 pairs of funny car. So you can make big changes in the pit still. It's much easier to take the can off the clutch and screw on 3 bolts or take 3 bolts off or whatever you want to do when it's sitting on jack stands in the pits than it is when you're 3 cars back in the staging lanes. So I really believe that's part of what we saw. I mean, like Dylan Winefsky was the first car out in Nitro. Dylan Winefsky didn't have any issues. Dylan Winefsky's car went right down the track. Now, he took blocks out, and that killed 5 minutes that we probably could have used from a track temp standpoint. But that car was going to run like 408 or 409. He's on like an all-time run for that young man. It's just you had the cars with big power come up there, and I think they just missed. It's that simple. It's so hard. Like, I mean, frankly, like Sonoma this week, right? Look at the weather for Sonoma, Joe. You're going to be in the booth on Friday.
No, I have. Get ready.
And you have to be ready, but also we're one early instant there away from I think a same situation, and they're going to run once on Friday, but we have a similar deal in Sonoma, Seattle, where we have to take the breaks at the sun. We all know that. And when you come out of that sun break, your window is short, right? If we haul butt through nitro cars on Friday this week, it could be spectacular. If the first nitro car down the class and track and funny car on Friday oils the track or something, and all of a sudden the sun falls too much and the track is losing a degree every 3 minutes like it was in Seattle, it's going to be difficult. It just is. We're in that fine window. It's part of why Sunday was so good, because it was cool like Friday night in Seattle, but the sun was on it. So we didn't lose track temp. And that's why you saw the runs you saw on Friday. It's that fine line is very difficult to hit.
Yeah, it's very difficult to hit. But the fans who come out that don't know about Mike Knutson, they don't know Dickie Venables went to J.R. Todd, and they don't know any of the names, and they still think Austin Coyle tunes for John Force. They just want to see the big boys go down the track. Here come the big boys. They're loud ones, man. Look at that one. Look how fast it is. Wow, I don't follow NHRA.com, and I don't listen to WFO radio, and I'm not interested in the politics, and I'm not interested in anything. I just want to see cars go, whoa, for 4 seconds, and I didn't get to see it. I had a gentleman, a nice guy named Bobby. He used to race back in the day, and he pulled me over, and he's like crying, like real emotion coming out of him. It's like, man, somebody booed, and I didn't like it, and what can we do? And I explained to him everything that you just explained to everyone, and he's like, I know, but how do we explain it to people? I don't know. Maybe you do open early in the day. See, the thing is, the break for the sun, you can't get 2 runs in back to back. You just cannot. Right. Is that early run even worth very much? It would put some run down. Some rubber down. I don't know. Let's
that's it. It would have been 20 more nitro cars worth of rubber, and that's all it would have been. I think that would have made a dramatic difference? I'm not convinced of it. Maybe it helped a little. Maybe we get 4 more cars down total between the two classes. I don't believe that the first run was the difference between us, having 14 funny cars run 385. Let's put it that way.
Well, we'll have to see. But I loved that program, the Friday night program. We just got to keep tuning it up. And NHRA is willing to keep trying. And like, as the guy, like Jason said, I was on the mic, and I told this gentleman that. I was like, hey, sir, I was the guy on the mic for it. What do you think it was like for me? Right? Every pair shaking the tires. Here we go. The most exciting thing in the world is going to happen right now. Here it is. Okay, it's not. But next time is going to be, and you're trying to keep that energy. And we did. Thank goodness for that D-Cell Power Systems After Dark Low Qualifier Award to keep it interesting. And then Brittany Force saves the day once again with a 340-mile-per-hour run. You heard Matt Hagan right there. Hagan and Caps, final round. Just give me a summary on funny car, things that stood out in your mind. I talked to Jim Head. I gave him credit for beating the Prock Rocket. He goes, nah, man, we didn't beat them. They beat themselves. And that is kind of an underlying theme throughout the year. Like, if they beat themselves, someone else has a chance to win.
I would be curious to go back, Joe. Actually, this gives me something to do on the airplane. I wonder how many times since Austin started driving that car, Gainesville last year, that Austin Prock has lost a race.
Been beaten by some.
How many times has somebody gone up there and outrun, like what the Vegas 4-wide final last year, right? When Bob Tasca won on the whole shot, and Bob was rolled in a little, right? But like, that was like what the greatest drag race of all time. But like, I'm like, how many other times, like, I'm struggling to think of that moment. Like, I'm sure it's happened a couple times, but I don't think many. Did John beat Austin in the finals at Epping last year? I think both cars got down the track there, if I recall. But it's like, the fact that we're having to sit here and think about it, first off, the fact that we can recall those instances tells you how rare they are, right? Like, if it was happening every other week, then we'd be brushing it off. But the fact that we're having to sit here and strain and think about how many times did Austin Prock's car pull the parachutes at under 4 seconds at over 320 miles per hour and not get there first? And the answer is Not a whole lot. So, I mean, Jim Head's right. Like, they beat themselves, and it's happened a few times. It happened a few times last year. They've still won almost 40% of the races. They're still the points leader. I thought funny car was incredible on Sunday. The racing was tremendous. That's some of the best funny car racing we've had all year. We had some of the best racing we've had all year, first off, all day. But it was just nice to see so many funny cars make runs. Like, very few funny cars did not get to the finish line, and that made every race interesting.
Alexis DeJoria got a shout out from Matt Hagan, and her driving at the I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if you were connected, but at the Dave and Buster's Fan Fest, and there were so many great things. A slot tournament at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Then we went over to Dave and Buster's, and Alexis was there, and just big smile on her face, having a good time, feeling great, and that just carried her through the weekend. Driving great, back-to-back whole shot victories. Takes out J.R. Todd, takes out Chad Green. Good run against Hagan. Just so many examples of people driving well and racing well. But in the end, Matt Hagan and Mike Knutson get their first win with Mike as a crew chief in the sport.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Alexis up. So I happened to fly home for me, and she was coming to LA for a couple days before going to Sonoma. Just, easy travel thing. And we're on the same flight, and I was talking to her before we got on, and I said the same thing that you just did. I said, it's great to see you, first off. I think we all love seeing her so happy. She went through a couple seasons, and it's not a secret, working with Frank Hawley a couple of years ago. She struggled with her driving. She was open about it. I think her team was, open about it at times, maybe to a fault for both of them, where they both talked about it a little too much. But the change of scenery has been great for her. The thing she said to me is that she feels in tune with this race car for whatever reason. The chassis, the tune-up, like, she gets in the car and it's as comfortable as she's ever felt. And what she said to me is, I can't remember the last time I won 2 rounds in a weekend on a whole shot. Might not have ever happened. Like, she was so thrilled with her driving. And the semifinals, like, she was 70 or 71 on the tree in the semis too. They just got outran by the car that won the race. So kudos to Matt Hagan. I mean, Alexis drove, I thought, the best race of her career. Certainly, I'd have to go back a long time. Since I've been on the announce team, so 2019, that's the best race I've seen her drive, start to finish, throughout a whole weekend. So kudos to her. But Hagan, this has been coming, Joe. And that's why I brought it up to Matt in post-race in the winner's circle. This has been coming for a while. And they've been to some finals, and they just needed to put 4 runs together throughout a weekend and not run into Austin Prock. And they finally got that opportunity. And that's the first win for Mike Knutson. It will not be the last. It won't be the last this year, I don't think, or anywhere near that. That car is going to continue to get better. They're going to compete for a championship. And the Phil Schuler part of it is very, I think, understated by many of us in the industry. And I think that's easy because Phil is a very quiet, unassuming person. Not a spotlight guy, not
tried to
real
wave
vocal.
me off the winter interview. He
Correct.
tried hard to wave me off. I was like, no, Fox has Newt, you have to do it. You don't have a
choice here.
Yes.
Right.
And
But like Tony has talked about this repeatedly, right? Why is Tony Stewart's dragster so good? Phil Schuler. Like, and it's not like, a negative statement towards, Neil and Mike. It's that Phil came in and looked at the program and was able to take a step back and give them a different perspective and make some adjustments and help get them back on the right track. And I think Phil is the perfect type of mentor for somebody like Mike Knutson, who's been around the sport his whole life and has learned from Dickie Venables. And it's not like wasn't smart enough. He certainly was. That's part of the reason that Dickie Venables is gone. Matt Hagan, I'm so glad Hagan finally kind of acknowledged that whole deal in post-race, Joe. And I know you went to media, so you might have missed it. And I missed part of Matt's interview here. But Matt finally acknowledged in post-race at Seattle that Dickie Venables left because they didn't have a choice. Like, Mike Knutson, to quote Matt Hagan, said was, Mike Knutson was going to be the #1 crew chief on a funny car this year. And we had to make the decision. Was it going to be on our car, or were we going to race him? Because he was getting offers from so many other teams. And the decision they made was, we're going to give Stretch an opportunity to run this team. And Phil Schuler, I think, is the perfect kind of Robin to Mike's Batman, and this ability to sit back, not want the spotlight, let Mike do his things, but just quietly kind of guide them in the right direction. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor here. And it's worked out. I think it's worked out for everybody because Dickie looks happy. Every time I talk to Dickie, he seems happy over with JR. And that car is really running well. They lost in a whole shot in round 1. You saw JR tweet about it. That won't happen again. I believe that. JR is that type of guy that, like you and I have seen it how many times, right? When JR drives pissed, like, watch out. He's as good as anybody in the world. So, and we're coming to Sonoma where he has a great track record. So, I've got my eyes on the DHL car this weekend, but I think it's great for the sport in general. It was a good shakeup, and Mike Knudsen is one of those stars. How many times do we talk about crew chiefs? We need young, up-and-coming crew chiefs, and we need that next wave, right?
Gotta have it.
And we're starting to get them now. Matt Bynum, Jason
Bynum.
Bunker, Thomas Prock is, Thomas Prock could go be a crew chief tomorrow. There's 20 teams out there, between the two ranks that would, fire people to hire him. He's just not going to leave racing with the family. So we've got that next wave, and it's nice to see.
All right, let's move to Top Fuel. First story, number one story, Sean Reed. Reed's been posting, and that makes me feel great. It warms my heart. We all love Sean Reed, right? He's grit and determination, and he's gruff and brash, and he wants to be a part of this so badly. And he was, and then went away for a little while, and he pretty much went all in on the sport of drag racing and has earned the respect of everyone. He's got Rob Wendland, another great character, with him. And when that car had its issue, collective hearts stopped for Sean, and to see him hours later posting on social, making jokes about his loss, just thank goodness, right? Very tough moments at the track, but good news that we can carry on. But again, this is professional motorsports. These cars are running over 330 miles per hour, and it's all how you choose to look at it. Well, the way I choose to look at it is the safety in these cars have come so far that he can go through a hit like that. And you look at the cockpit of these race cars and all the safety equipment that he's got on, and he can be cracking jokes not far after.
Kobe also apparently is very impressed by the safety of these cars.
Kobe.
Who's laughing at you right now, by the way.
They all do.
Listen,
they all do.
The thing that I said, he's going to make an appearance here in a second. The thing that I said to Ryan Elliott yesterday on Ryan Elliott, who's the car chief on Sean's car, posted kind of about the incident. And I thought it was a hat tip to Ryan and Rob. You built a race car that you just drove into the wall at 300 miles per hour. And the only major injury is because Sean didn't get his hand off the wheel, right? That's it. Like, the hand injury Sean has is to his left hand. I've heard some people talk about, his hand got up and out of the car and into the wall. And it's like the right side hit the wall. And to your point, he posted a video last night drinking a beer, and he was holding it with his right hand. So the right hand's fine. So, lesson learned. And that's a lesson, I think, for all drivers out there, right? Like, once you're going to crash, you just got to, Jesus, take the wheel moment, right? But, I mean, the fact that that's the worst thing that happened when you hit a wall at 300 miles per hour, yes, the cars have come such a long way. And credit to Rob Wendland and Ryan Elliott and that team for the way they built that car around Sean, the way that they got him situated and made sure that he was buckled in safely and tight and, seated in a way that he could survive that and be posting, to your point, on social media. So I'm glad he's all right. I'm glad the fan that was hit by the debris is, on the recovery as well. We've all seen those stories now circulating on the internet about that fan who went home the same night of the incident. So, it was a good reminder, though, Joe. Like you said, it's a professional sport, right? We make it look so easy to go 330 miles per hour every single weekend. And every once in a while, you have those weekends where you're reminded that it's really pretty remarkable what we do. And between Buddy Hull and Sean Reed and Chris Bostic, we got multiple reminders in the professional rank that what we do is dangerous.
And Dean Carter in Comp Eliminator, the NHRA Safety Safari, got a test. Got a test, and they were on it. That's inside baseball. Only the real hardcore people are gonna, get in on that. But there were several moments where the NHRA Safety Safari were tested this weekend. And there's never a perfect response. Nobody's bragging about anything, but just pat on the back to the people
Rose
who are
to the occasion
and try to get better every week at their jobs. Like, try to get better. What can we do? What can we be better? How can we be better? And they certainly did. And they were tested. We'll be tested again. Again, this is professional motorsports. All right, Brittany Force, Doug Coletta. Doug Coletta becomes the second 340 mile per hour racer. So now we've got like a 340 club going on. That was awesome. Alan Johnson uncorks the second Like we are seeing incredible passes out there, but then Brittany 3:41.82 takes it back from Austin Prock, is now the fastest racer ever, setting up the final round, which is Sean Langdon and Brittany. We did have a short field, but I wasn't really thinking about that at any point.
Never. Right. Like once we got past that. First off, the short field gave us the Doug Castello run, if the bye run in round one. I'm so glad, like, Courtney Enders started going down that road. She's doing such a great job in the booth, and she nailed it. And we talked about the lead up to Doug's run. If you go back, I posted it on my social media yesterday. Justin Ashley was the first car out, and he had a bye run because of Sean Reed's crash. And they smoked the tires right at the hit. It was the only car that smoked the tires really in round one in Nitro. And the reason they smoked the tires, and I've not talked to Mike or Tommy about this, but if you went and talked to Mike Green and Tommy DeLago, and I said it leading into the run, I guarantee you it's because they looked at, we're going to race Doug round two. Doug has nobody in the other lane, and Alan Johnson is going to try to make the earth rotate quicker on its axis. Alan Johnson succeeded. So now you know why Justin Ashley blew the tires off at the hit. Because I'm sure they were trying to do the same thing Alan did, right? Like, you've got to take that shot. But it gave us
that run. Like, let's take a second. It's a bye run, right? But like that run was historic, second quickest of all time, and the first 3:40 run for the Castello guys. And everybody on the starting line were smiling. There was no half of the starting line was unhappy about the deal because they just got beat. Everyone was just like Kool-Aid smile. We just saw something amazing. You lose something, but you gain something.
I made the argument. I made the argument on social media. I think that run was the single. He's going to make a second appearance, Joe. Stand
One
by.
moment, please. Like,
yes.
Dad, I want to be on WFO.
The problem is he's watching me talk, and he's like, I just want to be part of it. Say hi.
I wanted like, there it is. Look at this.
Hi.
Kobe.
There he is.
Kobe.
Hello,
yeah.
Kobe.
Look at me.
Hi.
I'm on.
Yeah, see, and now he's good, right?
Kobe.
He's like, I just want to be on WFO. Hey, look, we got a lot of good feedback last time, right?
Yes.
Listen, I'm going to make this argument. I think Doug Castello's run was the single most impressive run in Top Fuel history from a performance standpoint. Now, I'm not saying it's the greatest run ever. I understand the run, Alan Johnson, like he had a window he had to hit, right? He couldn't go too quick, but he couldn't go too slow, and he had to hit it to win world. So we're not talking about that. Okay, different situations. I'm talking about
performance-wise, and I get where you're coming
performance.
from. Yes.
I went back and looked at the numbers, okay? Brittany Force, ET record, Reading 2019, right? 333 miles per hour. If she went 5 thou quicker, she went 333. Clay Milliken had the record before that. David Grubnick tuned car. Pomona 2018. 809 to 60 feet, by the way, for Clay Milliken on that run, which is where the 62.8, which is the same ET Doug ran, right? But that's where the 362.8 came from, was the 809 to 60 feet, which is like, it's 13 thousandths quicker than what Doug's run was in Seattle. But only three, which, by the way, this is an only, but also a holy smokes moment. Only 322 miles per hour to go 362.8.
Only.
Like what? So, like, my argument was simply that you had a car that was 822 to 60 feet, ran what is tied for the second quickest ET of all time, and at the moment was also the third fastest speed of all time. Now we've taken the entire top 10 Top Fuel speeds list and rewritten it in 3 weeks now. But like, the fact is, you made the second quickest and third fastest run of all time at the same time. You were 822 to 60 feet and ran 341 miles per hour at the finish line. You were 300 to the 8th mile. That car was at its absolute peak from the second Doug hit the throttle to the second he pulled the parachutes.
Right. The
It
perfect
is so
run.
hard. And we on the replay, I said that. You ever wonder what perfection looks like in a Top Fuel car? Here it is. That car lived on 8 cylinders for 1,000 feet and got every ounce of performance it possibly could have out of it on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning in Seattle. It was
Matching
spectacular.
up the speed and the ET. It had a stat for everything, including the 300 to the 8th. Amazing stuff. In the end, though, Sean Langdon wins the race. Sean Langdon got a bye in the semis. They went at 65-1, showing that they got some muscle too. Someone out there, Charlie, wants to know if he gets a bye run in the Mission Foods race this weekend. I don't think he does. We're going to elevate.
No, we will take the quickest round 2 loser, which I've not gone back and looked at this point.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of that in the top of my head here.
I'm going to look right here.
I think Justin smoked the tires, right? It might be Tony Stewart, even though he leveled it.
Nope, it's Justin.
Is it Justin? Okay.
Yeah, because Justin was 387.6, losing to Doug, and then everybody else had a bit of an issue. Smoke went 381. I'm sorry,
there you go.
481 is what Tony
okay.
Stewart went. Antron went 508, and Justin with the 387. So I'm, pretty certain it's going to be Justin and Sean Langdon, which isn't that fun. Aren't we seeing? We're seeing Justin and Langdon and Smoke and Langdon, and these guys are just slugging it out there. And we got fans that are like, "Here come the big boys," and don't know anybody's name.
Yeah, I think here's the thing I took away. Doug Paletta made maybe the most impressive run I've ever seen. Brittany Force made the fastest run of all time. Sean Langdon won the race, and you take the Richmond post race part of it out of it. I'd make an argument that nobody in Top Fuel is racing better than Sean Langdon and Brian Houston. And I think it's been that way most of the year. Tony Stewart's team was consistent, and they went to all those semis and finals in a row, and that streak came to an end with the loss to Sean this week. But I still maintain, I think the Coletta Air car should be the favorite right now in Top Fuel. I just think from the time we started the Gainesville till now, consistently, that car goes A to B quickly every run. Right. And Sean's a phenomenal driver, but Top Fuel's so wide open. Like, how many times have we seen somebody stumble this year? And when the thing about the countdown is you're one stumble away from it turning the points upside down. So, there's a reason when you asked me about play NHRA odds for Top Fuel, and there's like 8 drivers who are within plus 300 of each other. It's because it's still wide open every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone likes the little baby. That's cool. Randy says fans want to see good side-by-side racing, not smoking tires. And I want to see a home run derby at every baseball game, but every once in a while I get a pitcher's duel. Like, that's the thing. You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose what it's going to be.
We got great side-by-side. Sunday, we got great side-by-side racing all day.
Yeah.
All day.
But Randy is against it. He says, no, not enough for him. He wants it to be better than that. He wants. No, I don't know what Randy wants. I'm just teasing Randy.
By the way, his last name is Johnston, and you pulled out we almost got a Randy Johnson baseball reference from you there. Well done.
Close enough.
I don't know if you realize that.
Langdon retakes the points lead over Tony Stewart. Justin Ashley 93 back. The 3 drivers that I believe are in contention for the regular season check of like 150,000. It's 150,000, right, Jason Galvin?
150, yeah, for both Top Fuel and Funny Car. That's we keep talking about it. I've had some fans who are like,
no, it's not 75 each, people. It's 150 for each.
That is a lot of money for these teams. A lot of money. It's like winning almost 3 races. Let's put it that way. Like, do you just here, you've run 3 more races effectively without taking the car out of the trailer and won them all.
For being the points leader at the end of the regular season. Which
Correct.
Is not really anything. And in years past, it's been nothing. NHRA stepping up with this extra money. Good job for them. All right, let's
by the
move
way, there's a bunch of money on the line for Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle as well. Like, same situation where you're effectively like, here, you have won multiple races without taking your vehicle out of the hauler. That's a big deal for all of these teams.
Listen, you might notice there's a minor little tick that I have for all the people that will constantly be negative but never acknowledge positive. Like me, I will puke out my travel woes, but when things go right and I get upgraded twice and I get out ahead of everybody and I get home by 6 a.m, I'm going to tell the world things went right. And this is something that the NHRA has done right. Not really hearing a lot of crowing about what a good job that they have done with this. Not really hearing it yet. Maybe when the check is cashed. But now's the time to talk about it, right? We got 3 races remaining. All right, let's do Pro Stock.
If you're going to get tired of hearing about this, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you're already tired of hearing about it, I got bad news for you. When we get to the U.S. Nationals, where, extra points are on the line and everything, 3 of the 4 categories are going to be wide open. Now, Funny Car, everybody's got some ground to make up on Austin Prock, but the way Top Fuel and even Pro Stock, you're thinking to yourself, what do you mean wide open? Well, yeah, Dallas Quinn took the points lead this week. It may only be wide open between Dallas and Greg, but it's going to be worth following. Pro Stock Motorcycle may only be wide open between Gage and Matt, but you better believe we're going to follow it. Top Fuel, there's going to be 3, if not 4 racers in contention for it. When that type of money is on the line between multiple racers, it is going to be a major talking point. So if you don't like it, then just tune it out. But it's here to stay.
Yes, it really is. As long as we got Parks, our friend, says drag racing fans bitch about everything. And
I don't know, Jim. I've never noticed that. What are you talking about?
Well, let's remember though, it's the per 100 per sports fans, but it's the per 100 rule. There's probably 95 out there that are really happy and just sitting at home quietly, and they're not going to post. They're not going to make a complaint. They're not going to let us know about their existence. They're going to be at home, happily watching, enjoying everything, like that wonderful person I sat next to on the rental car bus, Tater, at a Boise, and his wife. They had a blast. They were there, and just, I asked him, did you have a good weekend? Did you have, please give me some constructive feedback that I can go back and make some aspect of this weekend better for you guys. And they said they loved it and they had a blast and they had so much fun and it was great. And they can't wait to go to another event. And maybe they're going to Vegas or maybe they don't know where they're going, but they're going.
I call it the Yelp rule, Joe. I call it the Yelp rule. When we're looking for restaurants on the road and we pull the Yelp score up, if it's better than 4.5, it's probably like a 5-star, right? And if it's better than 4, it's probably pretty good. And if it's better than 3.5, it's probably okay, but not going to kill you, right? And I think most people would see 3.5 and be like, oh, gross, 3.5. But to your point, 80% of the people that are going to Yelp are going there to put a 1-star, right? How many people go to Yelp or Google reviews because they're like, oh man, this place was really good, but not quite great. And it's really a 4-star. So let me go there and put a 4. Nobody does that. Come on. How many good meals do we have that aren't great? We're like, man, you know what I need to do? I need to go to Google and put 3.9 stars on this. Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
That's great. Walt Walker out there, he goes, we dispelled all the negativity last week, Joe, fixed all the problems. I went on the Bobby Fazio Driver Interviews YouTube show. Guys, please go check it out. And it turned into, and it was fine. And, announcer, FYI, like how do we do this? How do we do that? What can we do? Why don't you do this?
Oh, you were an announcer at NHRA.com for the week, Joe. You took my job.
Live with Walt and Bobby, and we had fun. And I feel like we actually made some progress, right? What can be done? Look at little Kobe. Don't worry, little Kobe.
Kobe feels like we made some progress too.
Kobe. All right. Dallas Glenn, you mentioned him. I love the story. He's a hometown hero in a hometown that loves their sports and get behind their locals. Dallas goes on, wins the final round, tire shaking battle, but Jeg went red. Jeg showing why he is maybe the greatest of all time. 007, 13, 007. Of course, he stepped over the line a little bit in the final round, 009 red. What a grouping. But in the end, Dallas Glenn was destined to win at this facility, and he got the win. I hope the hometown gives him a lot of pub for this victory.
Listen, the post-race party on the starting line, I know by the time we got to Pro Stock, you were long gone into media, but the crowd hung around for Pro Stock. Sometimes we lose them after the 2 Nitro drivers. They hung around. They gave him a giant roaring applause, probably as loud of applause I've heard this year, with the exception of when Tony Stewart won in Vegas for his first win. So it was a great moment for Dallas. You could tell it meant the world to him. I don't think he really cares how the final went, especially because he was on the wrong side of that in Phoenix once already this year. I think it probably helps take some of the sting out of man, I'd really love to win the race, but to win it like that. But he was on the other end of it in Phoenix, right? So listen, from the time we got to Muckleshoot on Thursday for the press conference, it just kind of felt like this was Dallas Glenn's week. And then he put together one of the most impressive performances in Pro Stock history. I mean, he was low in 3 of the 4 qualifying rounds. He was second in the other round. He reset the track record 4 times and then made 2 more runs on Sunday that would have been the track record if he didn't make the run he ran in round 1, which was the second quickest run in the history of Pro Stock. So, I mean, that is an all-time weekend if you're Dallas Glenn. That, you cannot script it any better. He won the Mission Foods Challenge. He was the quickest car in Pro Stock in 7 out of the 8 sessions, or maybe 6 of the 8. I didn't look at whether he or Jag coasted to the finish line quicker, but it didn't matter because Jag went red, right? So, in 6 of the 7 runs where cars made passes, he was the quickest car. And the one where he wasn't, he missed it by a couple foul to Greg. He runs the second quickest run of all time. He owns the track record at his home track. He wins the race. He wins the Mission Challenge. He's number 1 qualifier. Those are the things that, if you grew up racing at your local track, dreaming of being a Pro Stock driver, which Dallas Glenn did, I want to be a Pro Stock driver one day. That's Mecca. How do you outdo that? You don't. It's the greatest professional weekend of his career. And the only thing that will ever beat that is if he goes to Indy and is number 1 in every session and wins, or if he wins the World Championship. Otherwise, you've hit it. There's the peak weekend for Dallas Glenn. Great weekend.
100%. And Seattle media, please give this guy love. It was an amazing occurrence.
Come on.
36 points up on Greg Anderson, and those two are going to battle for that regular season points championship. Hartford in third, 335 back of the lead. Corey Reed took out GA in round one. All right, Pro Stock Motorcycle, then we'll let you go. Chris Bostic kind of stealing the headlines with his amazing toughness. That's the thing everybody wants to talk about. That Bostic, like, how did he take that? Like, is he real? Is he one of those Tesla robots? What's the stitch? How on
He's
earth?
the Terminator.
He is the
He's
Terminator.
The Terminator.
That nickname is already taken. But what we saw happen with Bostic, his helmet flipped up. He couldn't see. He was blind. He gets into the wall. He piles in. He just gets going again and comes back and makes the next run.
Did you talk to him Sunday evening? He was down on the starting line for post race. Did you see him?
I did not talk to him Sunday evening. I just talked to him in the interview before the run that he went out on the new bike that he had never run before.
He was out there in jeans and a t-shirt, and I can't believe I'm still struggling to comprehend what I saw. Right, because so Seattle, as you know, Joe, where we stand, there's a pillar in the corner of the tower there.
Yes.
At an angle. And Chris was in the right lane. And so, they left the starting line and I watched them leave out the right. And it was pretty clear that Chris, wasn't going to make like a crazy run, but also the red light was on. So we'd already seen like he had won the race, right? So I spun my head back. Shame on me. Spun my head back from looking at the track. Oh, red light. My eyes went to the screen to talk about the red light. And then I'm watching Chris's incrementals, not looking out the window really. And it's clear that like, okay, it's not like Chris is going to, run a 70 here. And so I went down to my notes to start filling in the ladder. And through my headset, I heard somebody in race control, like kind of alert that like, uh-oh. And as I popped my head back up, the bike was already laid over. And first off, like, let's start there. The fact that Chris Bostic didn't come off the bike, like forget the hit the wall and stay on part.
Yeah.
He had that thing laid over. And I'm like laid over. We know now after the fact, laid over blind because his helmet is blocking his vision. He's got no clue where he's at. He's going 170 miles per hour. He's tipped over basically, trying not to fall off the thing with his leg out. That alone was like heroic stuff that you don't normally see. Like, I mean, first off, you wouldn't find me riding a motorcycle, right? But I would have just laid the thing over. Like, forget about it. Like, and then the fact that he gets to the wall and you saw the way he like braces himself and takes the hit. Most impressive thing I feel like I've ever seen. So anyways, I see him in post race and he lifted his shirt up. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, my leg's pretty swollen, but I got looked up by the medical team and they basically just said that I'm bruised, real bad. And, take some Advil this week and it's going to hurt and be sore, but I'm okay right now. I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, my leg's real swollen. He goes, yeah, my arm's kind of swollen too. He lifts his shirt up. His definition, let's just put it this way, Joe. His definition of kind of swollen and mine are dramatically different. I mean, it looked like he had 3 NBA basketballs on his shoulder. I was like, oh, like you can go ahead and pull your shirt back down now. Like I don't need to see your shoulder anymore. I mean, so I can't imagine what he feels like this week.
Right, that's the thing. There's not enough ibuprofen in the world for that situation.
Just beyond incredible though. Like I cannot be more complimentary of the fact that Chris Bostic stayed on the motorcycle through all of that, and then shook it off like nothing happened.
Right. To mentally get back up there on the horse again, stage the next bike. Okay.
Street cred.
Gage Herrera wins the race. Other wins in the weekend.
Hey, real quick, Gage Herrera note. Did you catch that? The Bob Glidden stat there? Like of all the things Gage Herrera continues to do, 25th win, quickest in NHRA history to 25 wins.
Yes, I did hear that.
He did it. He did it 8 less races than Bob Glidden. Like he just continues to demolish the record books. People wonder why we talk about Gage Herrera in such glowing fashion every week. It's not because like Joe and Galvin love Gage and we're besties hanging out on the side, and it's not because he's paying us under the table. It's because we live in a sport that is so sometimes almost to a fault infatuated on the past and history and statistics and whatnot. But he's rewritten every single history book that you could rewrite, and he's done so in such a dominating fashion that if Gage Herrera was doing this in Top Fuel, people would be talking about him nonstop. Like you would never hear the end of it. So that's why we keep talking about him like this.
Absolutely. And Gage, he hasn't tried to pass under the table yet, but maybe he should.
You're accepting? Got it. Okay.
I'm not accepting. Listen, Gage is a very good person. That's the thing that I like the most about him, is that he could be cocky. At this point, he could be a cocky jerk, right? Winning everything. He's on Vance and Hines. They're not getting rid of this guy no matter what. Right. He could become cockier than Kyle Busch at his pinnacle. And
somebody asked Terry, has Gage already signed a lifetime contract? Because if he hasn't, they should probably start negotiating.
Yes, exactly. Gage should hold to. I'm Gage. If you need an agent, Gage. If you need an agent,
you're available. 10%.
I am available. Yeah. Simple as that.
10%.
All right.
Cal Method, Joe.
Cal Method. That's the one I want to talk about. Let me list the names. Joey Severance wins top alcohol dragster, doesn't come over to the stage. It's okay, Joe. I'm taking it personal. No big deal. Maddie Gordon does. Love Maddie. Maddie amazing. Jeff Lane in world championship position. Comp eliminator. Justin Lamb, super stock. Amazing win. Doug Johnson, super comp. Chris Cannon, super gas. Jason Biscay in what appears to be an actual streetcar in Super Street. David Cook, Mo Trujillo in Top Dragster. But let's focus on Cal Method, the oldest Wally winner in NHRA history, nearly 82 years old. But the stat that was given to me as he climbed up the stage, that it was Joe Sorensen who denied him in 1998, and he waited 27 years for revenge.
For a rematch.
Just the craziest story.
And then wins a great race, right? There were some great finals in Sportsman this week. I mean, great finals in Sportsman. Justin Lamb driving by Troy Olsenowski in Superstock, 60 miles per hour plus to take was it 8th thou or something like that? Was really fun to watch. But yeah, Cal Method. I wish I would have known the Sorensen story before the run. Kudos to you for finding that out after. But that's just incredible. On a day that Joe Sorensen got his world championship jacket and ring, by the way, on top of all of that, Cal Method waited, 3 decades for revenge and then did it on the day that they gave Joe his ring at his home national event and his jacket. Hey,
so this,
I owe you so much.
CYA, Joe, Cal's daughter relayed this information to us as we were about to do the interviews. Troy in Oregon, Troy Abercrombie, who helped us out this weekend and did a great job. Has got a great relationship with them. She told him, he told me. And so, let's leave 2% for inaccuracy. But the fact of the matter is, this guy got the job done at 82 years old, climbed the stage, looks amazing. Drag racing keeps you young. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That was, we're not supposed to be rooting for specific people, but there was a sense in general just in the tower all weekend, as Cal kept turning on win lights,
against Jody Lang, against Justin Lamb, against all these killers. This guy is 82. He's out there, maybe in the same car that he won those races in. Just amazing.
Yeah, no. One of the great moments in Lucas Oil Racing all year. That will be on the end of the year banquet video, right? That'll be one of the moments we all, think back about. That we all got to be there to watch Cal Method win his second national event, his first one since 1983. That is a heck of a wait, Joe.
Amazing.
A heck of a wait.
Tenacity, right? Keep after it. All right, Jason, final thought before we head to Sonoma. Give us a little preview of the weekend, and then Kobe gets to have you back.
But buckle your seatbelt, Joe. And I'm glad you said you're already on alert. And I think you're going to get an opportunity to do some of the stuff I got to do in Seattle, right? With record runs and whatnot on Friday.
Great job with the Brittany call, though, by the way. I just want to give you credit. I got to get on the 340 parade. I got to call 340, which was awesome. And that 341, you noticed it. You got excited, and the world will remember that call, I think.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. It's the big moments, man. I don't know that I went into Sunday in Seattle on record watch. I thought, man, this could be a fun day. But we got put on alert pretty quick, pretty quick. So, but I think, listen, the whole world, this is one of those weekends. I almost hate to talk about it because, like Loans has talked about on his podcast a couple times, he and Tony start talking about it, and then the weekend kind of lets us down. So I don't want to overhype it, but man, there could be some special stuff this weekend. I really think.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Jason Galvin, great job. Thank you so much. There we go. Jason Galvin calling the action. See you in days, hours from now.
Kobe.
Kobe. There he goes. Little Kobe. What a cute kid. And what a great job. People responding in the comment section about Jason's grip on stats and knowledge and all of that stuff. Really exciting. We'll go through some of the comments when we come back. Final comments, your thoughts on the race. Look ahead to Sonoma. Let's try to keep it positive, guys, because, you know, it's like a choice to be negative. I had this amazing thought this past weekend that I want to share with you. It's an exercise, really. It's like a positive energy exercise that we can all do if you would like. Pretty cool stuff. I do want to mention the folks at HusseyPerformance.net. HusseyPerformance.net, been on board with WFO Radio for quite some time, and super excited about David Allen and the team bringing on board HusseyPerformance.net. Not just copperhead gaskets anymore. They do material sourced in the United States of America. It's laser cut. They can send it out the door very rapidly. So whether you need oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets for alcohol cars, or whatever your combination, reach out to David Allen and the team at HusseyPerformance.net. Also want to shout out to our friends at Bernie Speed Shop. Really cool experience this morning. Doorbell rings, and I'm like, ew. I don't know about you guys, but whenever the doorbell rings these days, it's like, ew, what is this? It's not good. But in this case, it was good. It was my neighbor. Years ago, my neighbor has this amazing 1956 Chevy Resto Mod that he put everything he had into it. It was like his victory car at the end of his life. And then he passed away. And I talked to his widow, my neighbor, and she's a wonderful person, years ago. And I was like, listen, don't know what you're going to do with the car, but if you ever decide you're going to get rid of the car, I know some people that are in that business. And so today she came by and I told her all about Bernie's, BURNYZZ.com, Bernie Speed Shop, because they're specialists. You don't put a 56 Chevy Resto Mod in the Auto Trader. You don't put it on Facebook Marketplace. You don't put a sign on it and stick it out on the corner. You got to go to specialized people who know and have built up a clientele and an audience to get the most money out of a car that is special. And that's what Bernie's does. They've got 100,000 square feet up there in Ocala, Florida. They're right by Garlett's. They do our Fan Fest before the Gator Nationals. And everybody that works there, you know, I can't say like every single person loves their job, but all the ones I talk to love their job and they love being there. And so go to Bernie's.com, check out their inventory, and know this: if you're looking to buy an amazing classic, you can go to Bernie's. If you're looking to sell an amazing classic or exotic or just a beautiful car, Rolls Royce, they can do that too. BURNYZZ.com, Bernie's Speed Shop. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Frank is out there at Boise, the original Firebird, up there in Boise, Idaho. They got classes going on all weekend. So if you're in that area and you want to get in on the action, like my friend Tater, who I met on the rental car bus, and his beautiful wife and their friends, they are from Boise, right? Go to frankhawley.com, give them a call, tell them you want to get in on it. The Dragster Adventure is the thing that I think is best for the WFO universe. If you're just a race fan, you're not trying to get your Super Comp license, you're not trying to go top alcohol racing. And of course, Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com, hot sauce, coffee, best in the business, spice rub. Call Marvin. The coffee is next level. It is the best from the world. Like the best in the world, it's the best from the world. rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. Definitely got to check that out. Marvin Rodak, great friend of WFO Radio. And of course, the WFO Patreons, patreon.com/WFO Radio. This is the VIP listener club for WFO Radio, the VIP listener club, where we're adding members again. We had stalled out for a long time, guys. Like people were like, the heck with you, Castello. We're not doing that Monday motivation. We don't care about Pro Stock here from Heiner. We don't care about it. Well, now they're coming back on again. Appreciate that. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And we think it's worth your while. Our friends at Foggett, of course. Our friends at Wright Trailers, of course, all supporting. We got something a little new here on the WFO show, which I'm excited about it. And I have become like the cornerstone of the hot sauce conversation. It's like the hot ones, number one, and Joe Castello, WFO number two. I'm kind of making most of that up, but just bear with me. The folks at SoCal Hot Sauce has got a whole bunch of different brands that they are putting out there. I have put the link in the chat, and it is Very simple. It is SoCalHotSauce.com/WFO. Hit that up. Check out some of the amazing hot sauces. The guac hot sauce is a mind blower. It's perfect with breakfast, but try them out. We're doing an affiliate deal with these guys, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So check them out. That is SoCal Hot Sauce, and it is available online. SoCalHotSauce.com/WFO. Go check out the website at very least and go through the process. See how it all works. All right, one quick break, and then we'll be back with your comments. So I want your opinion now. I would love to see some comments, as in, let's tackle some issues. The Friday thing, the big bonus race under the lights. We always talk about under the lights. But how do we solve that problem? There's 1. 2, points championships, regular season. And then point 3, I'll tell you my thought experiment about positivity versus negativity. All coming up.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
What's up, everybody? Today we are in Emporia, Kansas at Standout Racing. We're going to dyno Project Pontiac. Yes! That's how it's supposed to happen right here. A lot of work on profession.
We talked about this project 2 years ago at the PRI show.
Now, this thing started off like we dynoed the old engine, and that was going to be like just a refresh. Gary's not just an engine guy. He's got a lot of cool cars. Of course, he's Supercom dragster. He's won 4 world championships. Super stalker. But back here is where he keeps everything. This dynoing my Project Pontiac engine with Gary Stinnett.
I'm Steve Torrence, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when me and these Capco boys win races, we go straight WFO.
We missed him this weekend. There were fans, the Boo Birds. You remember those guys, the Boo Birds? They were like, "Where's Steve? What's up with Steve? Where's Steve?" And I sent him the video. I let the guy do a video. I sent it right to Steve. But they missed their chance to go 340. That's the way I look at it. And I know everybody's got stuff. Steve's, I'm not singling him out, but he's got 2 little girls. He's got a business to run. But we got to keep that track in place. Jason Fiorito is on Competition Plus, did a nice deep dive story with him. And he says that NHRA should make attendance mandatory. What do we think about that? I don't know. I think if you do anything to a drag racer, the worst thing you can do to a drag racer is make something mandatory. And they would like, if you say to a drag racer, breathing oxygen is mandatory, they're going to suffocate to death because they're going to show you that it's not. They will hold their mouth closed and not breathe oxygen until they pass out, just to prove the point. That's the drag racing mentality. As much as it is a team sport, it's also a bit renegade and, you know, very rage against the machine, if you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know. Jason said to me also on the starting line, like, we should never start off with a buy run. And I found that to be interesting. He's like, "Joe, we should never start with a buy run." And I thought, competition dictates that we have to start with this buy run because we go to the number 1 qualifier first and so on and so forth. And the person with last choice just happened to be Justin Ashley and happened to be first out, a buy run. You can't do that. That changes the competition. But he said, you can do anything you want. You can just make it a rule that you never have the first car down the track be a buy run. And it's in the rules. And so number 1 qualifier, number 2, and so on and back. Well, we just bumped into that. It can never be a buy run. If you bring that to the racers, I think they might get mad too, because you're trying to put a rule on them. But I don't know. I don't know everything. But what I do think I'm pretty good at is trying hard to work our way to a solution that works for everyone. That's That's what I like. All right, let's see what people have got to say out there. Blake says, I would like to see Erica Enders be a part of the ice cream eating contest at the Norwalk race next year. Can you please ask her for me? No, I cannot. Blake, that's on you, bud. If you can make it happen, I suggest. We've already got people who want to be in on it for next year. You would have to try to get that done. Roscoe, who is the Yeti, by the way, who the Yeti is being challenged now. There was actually a Bigfoot out there at Pacific Raceways. Another guy in the suit, Yeti. Another guy in a suit. Right, you're the Brainerd version, the Yeti, and this guy was Sasquatch. Pretty cool. Not being able to go to every race. I agree. I'm pretty sure 50 of 100 NASCAR fans voiced their opinions, and it's not good. Nah, NASCAR just signed a multi-billion-dollar contract. They've got plenty of fans. And yes, some are willing to tell you what they don't like about it. I have watched less NASCAR lately because of my hyper involvement with NHRA drag racing. You know, there's only so much time. But they have a strong fan base, especially on television. He's gonna get a YouTube show going. That's great. The hair and the force field of Aquanet kept Bostic safe. I can't disagree with it. I cannot disagree with it at all. There's the link to SoCalHotSauce.com if you want to hit that up, of course. Fast Eddie, who went to the final round again. This guy started sportsman racing, like literal sportsman racing in a street car, I think at Maple Grove, in a Mustang, Fox body Mustang, started bracket racing. He's a WFO Patreon, and he got inspired to go racing. That's the story that I'm telling. I think it's true. And he has been to like 4 final rounds. Pretty amazing. I agree. Bill Satchel. Jason just showed great concentration. He really did. So the last time Jason brought Kobe on the show, listen, Jason is at home. His wife works. He's watching the baby. I'm asking him to come on the show. And so we've got like a bit of an impasse. We got a baby in the background, and maybe the baby's going to be napping, but maybe it's going to be crying. Okay, I don't have kids. So you know where I'm coming from on this, right? So what is Jason going to do? We either going to not talk to Jason. That's possible. We could do that because someone reached out to me. They're like, Joe, you know the baby. And this is one of the people in the world. Some people don't like babies, believe it or not. I used to be one of those people. I'm not anymore. Now I think babies are okay. But back in the day, I wasn't into them. I was like, But so he goes and gets Kobe, and little Kobe is crawling all over him, and he's trying to do it, and he did it, and he kept his train of thought, really amazing. It was Jason's birthday weekend, by the way. Let's see. Money is the biggest limiter. Yeah. You know, this is a very difficult conversation to have. Money is the biggest limiter. It is the biggest limiter. But it didn't, you know, I don't know. We don't have as many regional teams anymore. Back in the day, like we celebrated the life of Jerry the King Ruth, and there were a lot of cars that were regional. Back in the day, you didn't build a top sportsman car. You build a fueler because that's what you wanted to go fast. And they were plenty fast enough. And now more categories have been created. There's more options for people who've got plenty of money, just not enough money to run top fuel. But given the cost of running a top fuel car, the cost of supporting one of the very rare quarter-mile facilities, a legacy facility, second oldest on the tour to Indy, is very small. It's a very small thing. I think it comes down to not money, but the pain, if you will, for people to go up there into the Pacific Northwest. And it is a long haul. It is a challenge. But we need people to do it. And I'll tell you why. We ask people to support our sponsors. And we don't tell them it's a big pain in the butt to support our sponsors. Just grab the easiest one. We tell them to support our sponsors, and we expect that out of them. We ask them to support drag racing. There's a lot of easier things to follow out there than drag racing. There's a lot of easier things to understand than drag racing. If you want to just get into the easiest thing, that's drag racing might not be for you. as I was mocking those people playfully, of course, earlier today, that don't know that Austin Coyle is not John Force's crew chief anymore. They don't know the names of the drivers. They don't listen to Jason Galvin or me on the microphone. They don't care. They want to see a fast machine go whoop in 3.9 seconds. And they walk out of there feeling great about it. They don't know the ups and downs. They don't know that Sean Langdon took a shot after winning Top Fuel, which made some people laugh. They don't know about any of that. They just want to see a fast thing that's loud. Look at that fast thing that's loud. We got to convert those people. But most importantly, we need to support our facilities. We need to support our facilities. I don't feel like going to this. But I should go to support the facility. Because, well, what's the facility doing to support me? Heck with them. Next thing you know, no facilities. Next thing you know, no drag racing. So maybe we should ask nicer, or maybe we should explain better. I'm not part of that. More money. We need to offer more money. Look, guys, and this is the uncomfortable part. Everybody that's doing this is pretty well heeled. Like Dylan Winevsky's not well heeled, but they got enough to have a Nitro funny car. So they got they've got one, and they went. Whatever the behind the scenes details for that, I don't know. But the responsibility of supporting the tracks, that's something that we should talk about as best as we can. Kara says, can't wait to bring my boyfriend for the first time. He can't wait for Nitro. Way to go, Kara. Just put him right down there. Put his face right down there in the Nitro. Enjoyed the NHRA on Fox on Sunday. Hope they do more. Well, they've been doing the past several weeks, Ron. It's been on there. But yes, I, as part of NHRA TV, but the Fox guys, Jordan Vandegrift, doing a great job. I can't wait to go back and check it out. Talked to Brian several times over the course of the weekend. That's how we grow. That's our growth. That's our lead generation mechanism is NHRA on Fox. I used to do that. Start or Expand Your Business Today podcast with Legal Larry. And he said, you got to have a lead generation mechanism for drag racing. It's NHRA on Fox. We go on this big broadcast. We showcase our cars and our personalities. And hopefully each week somebody stumbles upon it and says, wow, 340 miles an hour. That's really amazing. Let me follow this sport and see what's going on. And we need as many as is possible. Troy Abercrombie, who is our local regional announcer up there this weekend, did a fine job. Way to go, Troy. It says, good show today. Stole some of your notes, Troy. You probably noticed. Hey, Joe, would the steering wheel JR used prevent Sean's injury? Talking about Sean Reed. I spoke with JR about his wheel a couple of weeks ago, and he says he still loves it. It has not been widely adopted in any other category. My opinion is it would not have, because IndyCar guys and Formula One guys use a round style wheel, and it is known throughout IndyCar and NASCAR and Formula One that when you're going to crash, you go like this. The problem with drag racing is like crashing is not like a big part of it. It hopefully you will never crash in your career. And so being super ready for crash protocol is a little less possible. And also it happens so fast. So I don't know what Sean did in the cockpit of his race car. I don't know. But whether that wheel is round or is a butterfly wheel, my opinion is if your finger gets caught in or around it, it's not going to help. Some could say that, Sean should have gone like this. Did he have time to do that? The speed that he's traveling to go like that? I don't know any of that. So I'm going to say off the top of my head, probably not. It's just an amazing occurrence. C5 Pete is in Italia right now. He says, see you at Maple Grove. Hello from Italy. Hello. Do they like drag racing in Italia? Let's see. Tony German just got great news, Joe. I can officially say F cancer. I'm winning the battle so far. Tony, way to go. Keep fighting, bud. Keep fighting. And the report is 5 minutes old. Like the first thing this guy did, WFO Universe member, is come on and alert all of us. That's great. WFO Joe, I appreciate you always keeping it positive as best as I can. I do have negative moments, and that's what I will talk to you at the conclusion of the show as we just keep on burning. Let's see. The different times of the runs makes it a tuner's game for putting the right tune in the car. It's a guessing game, really, though. And as the Safari goes, each circumstance are different and unique. So true. Each circumstance is different and unique. And when a car bursts into flames 100 feet out on the left-hand side and it's Dean Carter and it's very similar to something that happened recently, I was like, all right, here's the test. And they were on the scene rapidly. Tulsa Raceway Park is a prime example of what you're speaking from, what people supporting, I guess. Apparently Ozzy Osbourne passed away. No. I'm going to have to double check that. See, now you've encountered. Here it is. Go to the Google. Top stories. Heavy metal icon Ozzy Osbourne dead 76. Can we confirm it? The Sun. Black Sabbath singer dies age 76. Wow. Ozzy Osbourne. Icon. No doubt. Icon. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Parks, for making this like a breaking news story. All right, so positivity versus negativity. The Yelp analogy was great by Jason Galvin. And social media is the same thing. It's an outlet for negativity. Very rarely do people go onto the social media to share a positive story. It's just the way it is. And so, for instance, last week, we put up a video, Hartford, talking about the future of Pro Stock. And 80% of the commenters were Pro Modified fans talking about they think Pro Mod's better than Pro Stock. They're welcome to comment. Thank you. But what is that? Like, we're talking about Pro Stock and you're interjecting yourself. You're coming in to say, well, I don't like that. I like this other thing better. Well, that is wonderful, but we're talking about this right now. So what's your point? What is your point? What is your point? In Pro Stock, you've got a couple of engine builders and a rival. In Pro Mod, you've got 1.5 engine builders, 2 engine builders. We don't even know the engine builders. That's right. Pro Line. They're all automatic transmissions over there. Everyone is just, I can't make the argument Pro Stock versus Pro Mod. I can't do that. The reason I can't do that, because it would be perceived that I'm anti-Pro Mod, which I'm not. I just have to just let anti-Pro Stock people do their thing. But this weekend, I noticed, and just so you know, guys, it's like really coming down out there here in South Florida, summertime squall coming through. Hear it on the roof. Yikes. Imagine if you look around in your life and every person that you see, every single person that you encounter, every person that you talk to, everyone you see here on the show or wherever you are, you could see floating above their head right here, a plus sign or a minus sign. That would indicate to you whether they're a positive person, positive in the best possible way, a positive person or a negative person in their moment right now. Like, are they positive or are they negative right now? Like somebody who just got a speeding ticket, they got a big minus over their head, like grumbling. And imagine that everybody can see that at all times, whether you got a positive attitude or you got a negative attitude. If everybody could see it and you knew about it, wouldn't you try hard or harder to be the person with the plus floating around above their head all times? Because nobody really wants to deal with that negative person. You see that minus sign, you're going to be like, should I go over there? Nah. Should I invite that person? Nah. Should I ask that? Nah. Let's just get the plus signs over there. And there are so many people who shoot themselves in the foot by just being negative, by pushing out negativity. There's people on my social pages that I see them and they're known for just negative posts. They can't possibly be that negative in their lives. They can't possibly be that negative, floating around with a minus sign over the top of your head all the time. But on social media, they are. Or when commenting about a sport. This weekend was a indisputable success It was the best attended Seattle race since the pandemic. We saw countless world records, the kind of things that track records and one world record, the kind of thing that most people would kill to see at a race. And we saw all of that. We did have some negatives too. What are we going to feature? What are we going to highlight? What are we going to think about? What are we going to talk about? Well, we talked about all of them. But what do we leave thinking about? And what do we choose to emphasize and talk about? Now, look, if you're the minus sign, I still want you to watch the show. And I need you to watch the show. I want you to watch and need the show. But I would love for you to try to turn that minus sign into a plus sign. Because it's just a choice. It's just a choice. It's the simplest choice. I could really go negative. Sometimes I've thought creating like the negative WFO Joe Twitter account and just blast people. And it would be so much just destroying people. Being extremely negative. Just to showcase how easy it is to do it. It's so easy to be negative. But you should fight against it. And, I don't know if I just said turn that frown upside down in a really complex way, but I really believe it. No negative Nellies. Everybody loves the Cal Method story. So do I. So do I. Look at this. Mark reposted this stream. Hopefully everyone else will repost the stream. That is a big part of like being a WFO Universe member is that you repost the stream and you're out there sharing drag racing. I happen to be the vessel. There are other shows too. I want you to repost those. Right? Loans and Tony doing a great job. And Life's a Drag. Those guys on Life's a Drag. They are trying hard. They're working on their schedule. They're trying to figure it all out. Some of our WFO Universe members have been tough on them. For now, the show will continue to be heard at Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But maybe it'll be live and they'll replay it. Like Jason Logan has kind of got a new career going on as a captain of a boat car. So you want to tune in to hear about all that inside stuff, check out Life's a Drag. But if you like and subscribe to this feed, you'll never miss a show. Bye, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Hagan. Thanks, Galvin.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.